your product, the universal pulley system. Can you explain to the listeners what that is?
So I'm probably going to fumble this because this isn't like my expertise to give like the elevator pitch, but basically the UPS is the universal pulley system. I was frustrated with my Spud Inc. Pulley system because, like everybody knows, you either got to set up 2 or 3 of them. They swing quite a bit because the straps, they're just sheaves. They're not even really pulleys. There's no bearing. So there's all kinds of challenges with them. And I was training clients in my gym and I needed a better solution. And I was like, man, the slinger is not doing it for me either because it's so close to the upright. I was like, I don't like that. The biomechanics were wrong. So I decided to go over to my buddy's place and we built a 2-pulley system that mounts perpendicularly to the power rack instead of in line with the upright. And it allows you to mount it anywhere you have a 3x3 cross member. And so you can move it on the back, the side of your rack, and independent, setup. People have done all kinds of things. Probably the best setup that we've seen is above a Rhino, like a drop-in Rhino belt squat, which just gives you all kinds of different options on it. But basically, it eliminates the swing because it's a rigid mounting point. And the fact that it'll mount to both, USA made and, overseas made racks, whether you're 2-inch hole spacing or 500 millimeter hole spacing, is what makes it universal. So it fits most racks that have 3x3 tubing with either 1-inch or 5/8 holes. We have a few stock colors. It's all made in the USA by hand. It comes with a custom link cable cut just for the height of your rack, because that was another thing, that on the market, the slinger only comes with 1 cable length. Doesn't matter what cable height you have, it comes with 1 length. Because I have a ton of customers that come to me just for new cables for their slinger. And if you got a slinger and you love it and you need a new cable, contact us. But we were just trying to create something better and different from the standpoint of a garage gym user. So then we came up with the universal pulley system low, which is a low row attachment, hooks right to that higher upper pulley system. It has a foot plate included, and you can do just about anything from Vitruvian high pulls to hamstring curls to bicep curls to people turn into a belt squat. You can do hip thrusts off it. You can do low rows. It's pretty incredible as long as you've got a lower cross member to attach it to. Same system, hooks up, universally. And together they're only about $650, which is still cheaper than a standalone lat tower. And you can take them on and off and slide them up under your rack, and they get out of the way. We felt like it was a good option. Like I said, we sent one to Adam from Garage Gym Lab to get his feedback. Even Coop from Garage Gym Reviews got one, and of course Jake, and all their feedback was really good. So we decided, hey man, I think we need to produce this for other people, and that's how it kind of came about.
Before you sent them to these people, were you 100% sure you were going to sell them, or were you looking for more feedback before you went all in?
Even the demos that I sent you guys was probably about the 2nd or 3rd rendition. And I kind of knew what was coming because this happened, this must have been April of 2020. So this was like right during all the shutdown stuff. But right. I didn't really see how big it was going to get because, I've been a home gym owner for a long time. I had no clue. So I got a patent on it. And the attorneys seemed to like the idea, and they were workout guys. So that was a big thing. And then, the feedback I got from Coop was, hey, you should put 2 logos on this instead of 1, and add 1 retaining pin here. And then, of course, like Adam was like, hey, you need to add UHMW on the inside because I don't even think yours has UHMW on it, does it?
It does. It was right before, I think.
Oh, okay. So, we made a couple little changes as we went through, and now what I think we have is a really polished product that, got a lot of battle testing from people who were experts in the field so that we didn't have to go through so many product renditions with just, normal customers. We got really fortunate with that. It saved a lot of time in the process.
Man, I love that story. Like, no, seriously, like a garage gym user has a problem, fixes it himself, and then gets the feedback from like the core audience to like perfect the product before introducing it to the market. And there you go. Like,
yeah, I do remember my feedback was we had a little bit of tweaks that you made adjustments for because the rep rack was just a little bit off, and it needed to be perfect.
You were
So I had some
gracious to
issues.
send me those pictures with all those measurements, because we really couldn't figure out what was going on at first, you know.
But I mean, in general, I think I could only get one pin, but it was still fine. It's very, very smooth and much better than, like you said, a basic pulley system. I remember my feedback being the price seemed a little high. I mean, I think you thought that was fair feedback, and I'm sure you could sell more if it was cheaper, but it doesn't sound like you're having any issues. So I think like right now the price is probably good. And it does solve a problem for a lot of different racks.
You were not the only person who said it was too expensive. In fact, you were probably in the louder group of people. And I wrote, Brandon gave me similar feedback to what you gave me when I sent him one. And I think when I told him, I was like, man, I'm not trying to be a dick, but I don't want to be for everybody.
Right.
And we're making a really high quality product. And I put my hand on every box that leaves my warehouse. I mean, I literally loaded all the shipments from the day. We were shipping 22 units a day. I loaded every single one in my pickup truck myself. I bring them in the UPS store myself. We take a lot of care in every single box we package up. And the feedback we've been getting is that it's well worth the money and well worth the wait.
Yeah.
And so we're just going to try to continue to carry that through every product that we put out.
Cool. So you've had a home gym for a while now. How did it all start? Well, let's start with this. When did it all start? How long have you had your home gym?
I saw that question. I was like, man, so I was probably 10 or 11. And this was in the early 90s. And my dad, you know, we always did martial arts and stuff like that. But I was an overweight kid. My dad was always trying to help me out. So he bought me the home gym set up from a yard sale, you know, concrete weights, 1-inch poles, you know, I call them poles because they weren't barbells. They were poles, no knurling. And, you know, I had a pec deck that would attach to it and a leg extension hamstring curl. And I had a pull-up bar. And that was my first set of home gym. But that was in my bedroom, a little twin bed, my desk, and my bench. Awesome. So that's how it all started. The chin-up bar, though, I got to tell you, I always had a chin-up bar. Always. I love doing pull-ups, love doing chin-ups. And, but grown-up days, I wrecked my bike. I broke 6 vertebra, partially collapsed my lung, separated my shoulder, and broke a rib in one crash. And it kind of changed my life about 6 years ago. Working in high-tech healthcare, lots of hours. We got a baby at home, and I'm broken, like really, really bad crash. And this is right in the height of me racing bikes. And so I kind of spent a lot of time working on movement and healing myself and a lot of physical therapy. And that led me to get back into the fitness side of things. So TRX went up in the garage every morning, going down there, working on my mobility, working on my strength, get my scapula back so that I could actually breathe again. You know, it was kind of dire straits there for a little while. When I had the crash, Ashley was 6 months pregnant. And when we walked into the ER, they thought she was there to have a baby. And it was actually me. I was dying because I couldn't breathe.
Dang.
That was a fun 6-hour trip to the emergency room with my pregnant wife. So that's what really started the shift. And then 2 years later, I'm still, at the hospital working a lot, and I needed more flexibility. So I built a small studio in the garage and started training people on the side. It was like, hey, we're really going to do this. I was like, I'm going to kick the can at the Y, and do this on my own and do it the way we want to do it. So 3.5 years ago, we made a big investment in the garage, and did it up. And of course, there's new reiterations. I'm about to tear this rack down. It's going out to my buddy's farm, and we're about to have a whole new setup in here. Probably every year there's a new rendition of the garage gym, and it's fun. I would consider it a hobby. Not just a passion. So
yeah, we love to hear that. What's your favorite purchase you've ever made? Can't name your own product either.
No, so I didn't have to purchase that, so I was excluding that. So that's good. I really tried to come up with something totally crazy on that, but it's my Cadillac bar.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I hate to do a specialty bar. I'm sorry. I know it's kind of a cop out, but I love that damn Cadillac bar. I have shoulder mobility issues, as I was just explaining. And that with my Thompson fat pad just made bench press, just made it enjoyable again.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
To get under big weight. I love bench press. That was, big exercise for me, like in high school and stuff. So that was my Cadillac bar gets used a lot.
That's a fun bar.
Good choice.
Okay. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, man.
I was about to say, you didn't say equipment. You said, what's your favorite purchase, right? Was
Yeah.
that?
No, I love that. Yeah.
Okay. Because I almost said something non-equipment based.
Well, what would have that been?
The projector.
I would pick something more expensive. It was the garage door.
Oh.
Did you guys
fully
put that in?
insulated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Fully
Nice.
insulated. And you can see it because we're on Zoom, but you don't see a garage door opener in the middle.
Oh, you got
It's
the
over here
outside
on the
ones.
wall.
Yeah.
And the door goes all the way to the ceiling. So I have a high lift kit on it. So my
Nice.
rack is up against my door and it clears it. Man, it was well worth the money to replace that door and do all that. Like if you spend a lot of time down there, I would definitely look into getting a new garage door.
All right. Well, what's your worst purchase?
Cheap kettlebells.
Where'd you get those from?
Kettlebells. Oh man, I wouldn't
Come
dog
on.
anybody out.
Dog them. Dog them.
China. I mean,
Yeah.
when I first made the jump to kind of convince my wife, hey, I'm going to start a personal training business. I'm going to walk away from, a six-figure, like I wear a tie to work. I work with surgeons and oncologists every day to, hey, babe, I want to work out of the garage in sweatpants every day. She let me put together like a $2,000 budget, saved up all his cash. And I went down to Memphis when Frey was still down there and hadn't really opened yet. And Jeremy Duggar from Frey let me, kind of get like an early entry. And I went down there with a trailer and basically built the whole gym out for $2,000. But those kettlebells did not last long because
those kettlebells, if you're talking about the Frey kettlebells, those are a little wonky.
They did not sit good. It was not fun to do renegades with them and stuff. Upgrading to competition kettlebells was a good choice.
I mean, those are the one thing from Frey that they sell that I'm like, those just go with a powder coat one.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
They chipped,
Yeah.
It was a cheap kettlebell. So I kind of knew I was getting to it. But I mean, I still have some of their urethane dumbbells. I got their plyo box.
Yeah, most of their stuff's good. Yeah.
Their wall folding rack did its job for a long time until I got my RM6. So
All right. So what are your favorite benefits from owning your home gym?
Number one would be time with the family spent in this environment. The whole reason I built it was to get more time with my family. The other benefit is that I've been able to monetize it and it's paid for itself.
Oh,
I mean, I got a really nice home gym, and it's not because I just spend all my money on it. It's because, I invest in pieces that are going to help my clients, and then it turns out to be a pretty good deal. So, yeah, but the time with family. I mean, I just got my son, his first bar. So he's got like an Oso kids bar. And that's priceless, man. I'll have my daughter sitting down here while I'm training people. And it's like, it's just a joy for my clients, a joy, for everybody. I train my wife down here, it's special. Yeah. We spend a lot of time down here as a family.
That's awesome. Yeah. Jake, is that your number one benefit as well? We talked about this a couple times.
Yeah, I think just in general, save time is the number one benefit, which leads to a number of other things that I can do, like spend time with my family.
Yeah, bringing the kids down here with me is like my favorite thing. Cool.
Until it's time to clean up.
Yeah.
My son likes to take all the mobility stuff and build like a obstacle course while I'm working out.
Yeah. I'm in the basement gym, and so on the other side of the basement's all his toys. And
Nice.
somehow they always end up on my side, just like decorated everywhere. So frustrating, but I deal with it because I love it.
He wants to be close to you.
It's fine. It's fine. I'll take it.
There's like nothing better than when I'm working out on the weekend and my daughter comes out and just starts swinging on the rings.
Swinging on the rings.
Yeah.
Those
That's
rings
awesome.
are like more for like the kids than it is for myself.
Those rings are personally in the way of me building out the gym more, but I'm not going to take them away from her. She loves those. I should say those are the only things she likes in there. So
have they gotten a hold of the inertia wave yet?
Yeah, they have. There's just one that can do that. One's 5 months, but
my son's obsessed with the inertia wave. That's his favorite. Let's unravel it right now.
I mean, she's 6, so like she'll get it and she'll drop it and they'll just go flying back to the wall. It's a little terrifying.
No doubt.
Holes in the wall yet?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. What are some issues that you've had with bringing a product to the market? Have you had like any major issues?
Yeah. Cost has always, that'll always be everyone's first issue. I would say that most people who try to bring a product to market run the risk of going broke during the prototype phase. I got really fortunate that I had enough skills and friends to prototype it out myself. The cost increases that have occurred since the lockdowns began and all that stuff have made it difficult.
Can I interrupt and ask, like, are you talking like materials costs, like that you're getting, like?
Yeah, like steel prices have gone up like 4 times since I started making them. Since I started selling them, steel's gone up twice. I've done one price increase, and only on the UPS low. We have not increased the price of the upper. I have increased my buying power so that I can give that discount back to the client. But yeah, I mean, bad vendors. I'm on my 5th powder coater. I'm on my 3rd steel company. I'm on my 4th engineer.
Jeez.
Dang.
It's finding skilled labor is tough, so I taught myself how to weld. I'll weld all day if I have to. Just finding a way to get shit done. At the end of the day, we're just GSDing it every day. But it's been extremely frustrating. I'm kind of in a battle right now. I don't know if y'all saw a reel that I did about me planing a bunch of UHMW parts to make up for where some steel had gotten bent a little tight. Those tolerances that we have are really important because the part won't fit on your rack if it's bent too tight.
Yeah.
So, we had to adjust other parts. That takes time, and it's adapt and overcome. It's been a lot of that.
Awesome.
But also, does anyone know how much a patent costs? I just want to, there's it seems like a lot of confusion in the home gym because there's a lot of DIY guys out there. And I mean, I have no qualms with the DIY guys, but
$10,000, $20,000?
$20,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's your basic non-provisional patent. A provisional patent, which will give you the ability to say patent pending for 12 months, is about $4,000 or $5,000.
Yeah.
You pay an additional, $16,000, $15,000 on top of that to get your non-provisional, which is the actual application that goes in and gets approved by the United States Patent Office. And then if you want to do other countries, it's a few thousand here and there. And Korea still copied me after like 3 weeks, which was kind of a compliment. But yeah, 3 weeks, and they were like stealing my videos on Instagram from me in my garage of this product that I like didn't know if was going to sell or not. I thought we'd sell 250 of these forever. I mean, I sold like 200 last month. It's kind of crazy. So, yeah. So while there have been a lot of issues, it's been very extremely rewarding.
Would you say that like garage gym lifters that's your target audience?
Honestly, I think when I first started this, I thought about boutique like training studios as well. People who just had smaller spaces, anyone who had smaller spaces, and ended up like, hey, the Army, like they have multi-station workout areas where they need all kinds of space-saving things. Anyone in a team scenario, rural high schools, things like that. And so I really thought towards facilities that had like, multiple racks and would want multiple stations because I didn't think that we would stay locked down and everybody would build a home gym.
Right.
I mean, at first, when I first started making this, and then I kind of saw the light and I was like, oh, okay, well, this is obvious. At the end of 2020, it was really obvious that was the direction to head.
So
which was easy for me. I thought that was the small-sided vision at first, right? Little did I know.
Yeah, where you started is like, okay, so it's narrowed down. Your target audience is the garage gym community.
It dialed itself in. I was really, really blessed.
All right, we're gonna jump back into it. Target audience. We kind of got into like how the universal pulley system is manufactured, but like to kind of elaborate on that, like what kind of facility are you building these things in?
So we started selling these in February of 2021. I was trying to think of that timeline. Yeah, 2021. Wasn't long after we started the pre-sale that I started renting 200 square foot hallway. It was the hallway to the bathroom in my buddy's peanut warehouse, the Tennessee Peanut Company.
Oh.
And we did the first 100 orders out of a 200 square foot hallway. I had all the manufacturing done with a trusted manufacturing partner. They took care of powder coating. We assembled and boxed everything in-house and shipped them all out. It was crazy tight, like really tight, but all the peanuts you could eat, which was freaking awesome. And it was pretty soon that we were able to secure a metal building with some roll-up doors. And that's about all we've got right now. We've got 3,000 square feet of a larger building. It's a storage facility. And my landlord, he owns a couple of haunted houses. And so he stores like a bunch of his haunted house stuff in one side. So if you look close in some of my videos on Instagram, you'll see like a coffin and like some weird panels and boards like hanging out in the back and a weird red couch. Those are Halloween props, So that's where we're at right now. We're assembling in an old paint booth. That's kind of our clean area. So we're working it out well. Right now, we're only welding in-house. We're not doing any of our own forming or cutting. But my building's being torn down in June because it's in downtown Nashville, and that's what's going on at downtown Nashville right now. Stuff's really expensive.
Yes.
I got this warehouse not because it's nice. Like my wife won't go in the warehouse. There's mice in there and stuff. It's rough. It was 17 degrees in there on Saturday morning. I went and took a whiz in the toilet and it like steamed. So it's just cold. It was hot in the summer, and it's just what we're dealing with right now because Nashville, I looked at a 17,000 square foot facility. Is like 1,800 square foot office and 15,000 warehouse, and they want $18,000 a month for it. That's not doable. So we're looking on the outside of town and stuff like that, looking for a new space. But when we make this move, we plan to grow significantly because, as some people know, we've broadened our product line, and we're going to be offering full racks and storage setups, the ARC series racks. I've got a wall folding rack that's coming out with a new take, and it's optimized for the UPS. So for those guys that want that fold away and use the UPS. So yeah, we got a lot of interesting things coming out. We hope to do more custom stuff, more facility build out. And in order to do that, we're going to have to take on some more of the process so that we can control it a little better. Because the biggest time consumer is fixing other people's parts right now. So if we can bring those processes in house and do it successfully, we'll be well on our way to scaling up a little faster than normal. But like I said, it's all kind of a learning curve for me. My dad's been in manufacturing and aircraft for like 50 years, so I kind of feel like it's in my blood. I originally went to college for mechanical engineering before I dropped out and joined the Army. Hoo-ah. And I came out and got a business degree just because I had to. But I like building shit. I like drawing shit. I like designing stuff. And it's really satisfying when I get to see real people give me real feedback and use the things the way I've intended to. And so that fulfillment that I get is kind of what's driving me to the next place. And I'm willing to take some risks and have faith that the marketplace will kind of come behind me and make it successful.
Yeah, that was my next question was like, are you planning on bringing some of that stuff in-house, like cutting and things like that? So yeah, that's awesome.
So do you know how many, do you know what a tube laser is? Like a 3D tube laser?
No, I don't.
No.
So this is like an 80-foot long machine. You stick a 40-foot piece of tube in it, and it's what cuts all the holes and numbers in your tubing.
Okay.
It cuts it on all four sides. It just kind of rotates the tube in the machine long way and then spits it out the other side. Really crazy. They cost like $1.2 million. Rogue's got 7 of them. So my steel cutter who built the Epcot Center, they built the Epcot Center. I mean, they're not like a little guy. They got 100,000 square foot facility. They have one. So just to put things in perspective.
Wow.
They have two 10 kilowatt fiber lasers, which does all your sheet metal. Which you see like Patrick from Bridgebuilt posts they got a great fiber laser and they do a ton of crazy awesome work. But those things are, a couple $1 million. So it's not just something you go out and buy your own laser, and you don't cut high quality stuff with plasma because it leaves a little notch in it, but a press brake in an operator and getting a CNC and stuff like that in there, like those are things we can do. And you just get somebody else to cut your stuff and you form it yourself, and then you bring your welding in house. And if you can bring your powder in house, you're really able to control at least the quality of the finish and the fit. So that I think that would make us feel comfortable with the product that we promised to our customers. Because we'd had to scrap a lot that just didn't make the cut. We've scrapped hundreds of units since I've started, hundreds. And I mean, it's just whatever it takes to put out the highest quality product. And I hope that anyone who's listening to this that's had an issue with our product, I hope we handled it well. I'm the only guy that returns customer service emails. And I try not to be grumpy when I do it. I get a lot of emails. So it's just another part of our brand's promise to our customers is just to deliver everything the way that, it should be.
You mentioned that you've pretty much worked a few different jobs since starting Surplus Strength as well. Is that still are you still kind of hustling to doing a couple different jobs? And I'm just curious, like, do you see an end in sight? Is your ultimate goal to do Surplus Strength on its own?
I'm kind of glad and a little nervous that you asked me that. I was about to pick up my entire family. Like a couple of weeks ago, I signed a lease on a warehouse in Mississippi, where my sister lives, where it's much cheaper to live. And we were going to move down there. My wife's going to take a job. And then we just decided that we were going to go all in on Surplus Strength. I'm still training about 8 hours a week for the clients in the afternoons. So what I do is I get 2 full days, Tuesdays and Thursdays, all day at the warehouse. And I get most of Monday, Wednesday, Friday at the warehouse. And then I come home early and I train from like 2 to 5, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, which works out really well. And I think I'm mostly doing that because I love my clients so much and I can't get rid of them. I've been training these people for years, and they're good friends. One of them is a business partner,
Right.
And the other one is, the vice president of my bank. And, this is a community, right? And it's hard for me to step down from being their trainer because they depend on me. Well, a couple of my clients, one moved away kind of like as Surplus was growing. Another one like went to college. He got mountain biking scholarships for Bard College, so he went off. So some of it was kind of natural thinning and like God's plan unfolding before me, just like, hey man, this is what I've got before you. Are you going to take advantage of it or not?
Mm-hmm.
So here we are. My wife is going part-time starting next month. And so I do a lot of the kid stuff, because she's 20-year master's prepared nurse at Vanderbilt University. And she works a lot. So I do a lot of the daycare stuff. And so she's going to come home part-time so that I can get a little more free time to put in the business. And we're going to hire a couple people. So stay tuned.
Cool.
I can't talk about all of it just yet. But we have some exciting things. I've been pretty quiet on Instagram and stuff just because we've been so busy, trying to keep up with it all.
You told us you are how many orders on back order? So something seems to be working.
We're over 200 orders back. We've got a 12-week lead time right now, which is unfortunate, but we turned on a really small marketing button that we thought, oh, here's our first month. We'll try and test these. And it like exploded. And we weren't really ready for that. We've just been trying to play catch up ever since. That, along with a bad batch of steel that came in and, trying to fix all those units and the returns that we had from that, it hurt us. I think we can kind of tighten that back up to a 6-week window if we continue the same way we are. But these are semi-custom units. Everybody gets a different color handle. You get a cable cut to length and all that. It just takes time. Today was the fullest the shop has ever been. I had a welder that I was paying on contract. I was there, and I had my man Tristan there. So usually it's just 2 of us because we're a small operation. That's what's holding us back. Yeah, 200 back orders. It's hard to say that, but it's just been tough to keep up with the demand.
Like we talked about earlier in this call, you've been kind of in the home gym scene for a while. Just somebody who just seemed like pretty passionate about having a home gym, and you mentioned you've kind of evolved it over time, but it seems like it's been a pretty important part of your life for the last 4 or 5 years or so. And then all of a sudden, midway through, you thought about a product. I'd love to like hear if there was a turning point or what originally sparked the idea about like the need, and then ultimately just like going for it.
So Surplus Strength, the brand, was really more about my training business when I originally started it. And we had some tech solutions that we were talking about. You know, I've got friends that are trainers, and so we would have these conversations about AI tech solutions. Obviously, those are unpopular according to the survey. So, but you know, an app base that would help people, you know, train the way we train. So it took a long time to unravel my mind behind just being a small personal training studio and morphing and turning that corner. It took something like COVID, you know, to really make that happen. And I can't say whether or not it would have happened without COVID, because the timing was just there. So that pivot really came because, like you said, I was already, you know, kind of buddies with Adam. We hadn't chatted that much, but I was already following you, and I had been for years.
You had a number of ideas kind of ready to kind of pounce on, and then this is just the one you went with.
Pretty much. I mean, I wasn't looking for a way out of training. I was just like, hey, this is cool. And I was like, hey, I wonder if anybody else could use this idea. And I sent it to a couple of people who I already spoke with, and they're like, oh, you need to get a patent. Like I emailed Juji Mufu some pictures, right? Like this is just for example, Juji Mufu. Like John totally emailed me back and was like, do you have a patent on this yet? And I was like, oh no. I was like, I got to call an attorney. Like we got to, you know, I follow Donnie Thompson. I'm not trying to get fat belled. I like
trying to get fat belled. I love that.
But I never like thought about creating a product. It was always just like a solution for me. I got really lucky. And
cool,
thankfully, like on my racks and stuff, some of my other ideas, the way like I think, well, hey man, I wish Rogue did this. That's how most of my products came about. Hey, I wish this person did this, and nobody would. You know, like nobody's welding nuts. You know, like putting a rack together is the most god awful thing ever. Terrible. It's not hard to put our racks together. You know, all the nuts are welded. There's installation knobs. Like it fits together without any bolts in it. Like those are things that people just don't do because they think of it from a manufacturing standpoint. And most people don't want to take the time to do that. But I'm thinking of it from a consumer standpoint and what would the consumer like it to be like?
All right. So how have you seen the industry change in the last few years? And if you can make any predictions, either big or small, how is it going to change in the future?
I like this question. So I feel like home gym's the future. So we can stay focused on that. I mean, that's, I really thought that 2020 would be the year of the niche gym. Like, you know, small private training studios. I really did. And I think COVID killed that and just pushed it into the home, you know? So that being said though, the change over the year has gone from the home gym being a stopgap to it being a centerpiece of the home. I hadn't shared this with y'all yet, but in 2020, we filmed a pilot for a show called Training Spaces for HGTV, where we were going to talk about building out home gyms and stuff like that. And they thought it was too niche for their network or whatever, and so they passed on it. But I still think that would have been an incredible time to jump something like that off, to see more people in their journey of building this out, because obviously a lot of people are putting a lot of time and a lot of money. And I think in 2022, Adam said this on the podcast. He said it's going to be the biggest, you know, home gym year ever, right? When he was on a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I agree with him. I think you're going to see people who got what they could get in 2020 and saw how awesome it was, and now they're going to renovate and do it like they really want it. I think some people got lucky with the timing and were able to kind of build it the way they wanted it last year. I'm not going to say, but I think some people dipped their toes last year and are going to dive in 2022. We're just getting done with one of our clients built a large guest home, and he has a 900 square foot space that we've been building out for him. Full custom power rack, storage rack, functional patterns machine, sauna, motorless treadmill, dumbbells. I mean, the works, man. It's unbelievable. And there's no lack of people like him. I mean, we see it all the time. I mean, there's plenty of content that you share where people have spent, you know, 30, 40, $50,000 on their home gym. And I know the survey didn't pull that a couple of weeks ago, but I think there's a lot of people putting a lot more money into quality equipment and specializing their gym for the way they train, which I think is probably the biggest change. Like, we won't just see like powerlifting bro gyms, you know, we'll see a lot more specialized, especially as tech moves in, tonal and all those things. I mean, you're going to see those integrated. It'll be interesting.
That's a good answer. That's like a unique answer. We've never gotten anything like that.
I think the tech integration is going to be more as you'll see full home integration, and fitness will move into that space as well. Like, you've already seen Amazon trying to penetrate in that. I went to Lowe's today, treadmills and stationary bikes right up front.
Oh,
Are you kidding me? Best Buy, like, you go in there, they got the stuff, right?
Yeah.
Sears, you used to go to Sears and get exercise equipment. Like, so it's not totally new that these big box stores are doing that, but, you know, they don't hold the expertise in the space. And so guiding a customer through like what we do is not the same as like what you're going to get, you know, when you go there, of course, but it's everywhere you go. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes from here. But that's my prediction. More high quality.
Jaws, along the same line, that's like those articles I was sharing with you. Like, more and more recently, you're seeing like New York Times and Washington Post and like all these like big news outlets or whatever starting to write articles for the home gym scene.
I
read those.
They're so basic. They're so basic.
They're so bad.
Yeah.
Like, y'all don't know what you're talking about. I mean, they're for their
still talking about
well.
the kettlebell shortage from 2020. Like,
I know.
That's over now. You know?
What you should do is you should buy a yoga mat. Yeah, whatever, man.
But, you know, now, like, there's never before been something like what I hate to keep talking about Adam. He's not, I swear we're not dating or anything, but he built out the bar finder and like the bench finder, like those type of things, those type of resources. Yeah, I mean, Jake, you're in that line of work. Like, that's kind of your background, your expertise, right? The data, like that, all that data that we've been collecting for these many years is usable back to the marketplace, you know, in selecting through all the myriad of gym equipment that's out there for the home gym user right now, you know, which is really cool, especially in all the YouTube content and the reviews. Like, it's never been this good before.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that go into everything. I think people complain about the prices rising, but they're still way cheaper than they would have been 10 years ago. I mean, we wouldn't be doing this if we didn't think it was going to continue to be a thing. So
yeah, there's no going back now for us. I glued the rubber to the floor, so it's safe.
Did you really?
All in.
Yeah.
Oh.
I have 1 meter by 1 meter, 1 inch thick squares. I used stuff. It's actually fray flooring, believe it or not. That may have been one of the mistakes I made doing my gym, because these things are not the same size. None of them are.
Okay.
It was a bear, but they're there and they're not coming up. So
yeah, special thanks to Jason Campbell from Surplus Strength. Jason, give them a plug real quick. Where can they find you?
At Surplus Strength. You can find us. We have the Instagrams and the Facebooks. Our website is surplusstrength.com. My email is real easy, jason@surplusstrength. Feel free to reach out if you got any questions about what we do. Check the website, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you for joining us for the Q&A and for the Sunday survey results. Again, thanks for listening. Jake, got anything for the people?
Yeah, just Jason, awesome story. Thank you for giving us your evening. It's getting late, and but it's really cool to hear how you've pretty much started as someone with just a basic home gym, personal trainer, and then has just evolved it into your life and your company. And it's great to hear how your hustle has paid off, and it seems like the future is pretty bright with Surplus Strength. Looking forward to seeing what's next, and you're inspiring.
I'm grateful for the support. That's what keeps me going.
Yeah. Awesome. Hey guys, keep your eyes on Surplus Strength. You heard it. A lot of things in the future, they're going to be growing. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for listening. See ya.
See ya.